I'm checking. Checking myself out here. Oh, I did it. Well, hello everyone. Just wanted to pop on with my face and say hello. Hopefully when I flip you, we'll be in the right orientation. I want to make sure you can hear me. Flip you. We'll be in the right. You can. All righty, let's get started for 2025. Happy New Year. 2026. Happy New Year. So let's try this. I'm going to flip you around. Okay, so far so good. You got a great view of my nose. Okay, let's see here. Oops. Okay. All righty. Let me straighten you out of here. Okay. All righty, everyone. I tried recording a video using my new camera. I got it recorded, got it kind of to my computer, but that's about as far as I got. Don't know how to do anything else. Anyways, these ladies are our cards for this month. To Valentine and a birthday card. Need to try to make sure I get in frame here. All right. I kind of wanted to cover up that ring. Oh, that was just the cutting board. All right, let's get started. Happy 2026. We're going to go ahead and start with this card here. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Tanya. I'm with Ms. Pooh's Crafty Spot here on YouTube. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Southern California, and I've been with Stampin' Up! For a little over a year now. I was formerly close to my heart. Anyways, so I hope the next month's video will be a little different. We'll see. I'm attempting. I've got all of the stuff I need to have a little bit better of a setup, but for now, it's my phone and recording the live. Till I can get it figured out. Oh boy, oh boy. Anyhow, let's rip this open. So this is, as you can see, a little bit special of a card. It has a year-long calendar that you will attach. And even if the person's birthday is in May, you could just rip off the first part of the calendar and expose May. Well, here's February. They're like Post-it notes, how these come off. And then I would circle their birthday when you give them their card. Or you could just leave it like this. But I think if you expose the month, they would be more out to use it all year long or for the rest of the year. So you have a little calendar. You have 3 leaves. These are die cut in Old Olive. You have these flat, these are gold enamel dots. these might be retired. They are the low profile dots. I truthfully didn't check to see if they were available. The Old Olive New Rick Rack ribbon. You have 2 pieces of cardstock that is petal pink. You have a piece of Designer Series paper. You have a strip for the sentiment, for the 2 flowers, a piece for the back. This one is stamped in petal pink, and I stamped happy birthday. And I put everything away because I thought my video was going to be successful. So I use full stamp set, this flower here, and I used the dies, which I have not put with, which I don't know what I did with. Oh, here they are. The dies is where I got the leaves from. It's the coordinating die. And then this Fabulous Sayings is February's product of the month. With a qualifying $75 purchase, you could purchase this for $5. It's 1 per person, per customer, but you still have time. And it's while supplies last. Last month was the paper. And I will go ahead and talk about the Valentine stuff when we get to the Valentine. The paper that I shared during my unboxing, but it is the Lovely and Beautiful Designer Series specialty paper. One side of this paper has gold foiling. The other side is just a standard matte finish, more muted design. Anyways, envelope. This one is stamped in Calypso Coral. And then we have a piece of Old Olive that is 4 1/4 by 3. That has 3 score marks. So we are going to start by folding this in half, like so. I would recommend using your bone folder to give it a good crease. Okay, I'm gonna set this out of the way just a smidge. And then these 2 other score lines, you're going to fold up. And you're going to do the same on both sides. So you're basically turning that into like a W. Okay. Set that aside for a moment. So it's going to look like this. Okay. And if anybody jumps on, make sure you say hello. Okay, and then this is our card base, Old Olive. It's the 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. So whenever you fold it, I want you to varnish it, but I want you to make sure that it's flat because you know the scoring isn't always perfect. So if you just make sure your edges are flush and then give it a good crisp. I just scored on the trimmer and I don't varnish them. So we're going to go ahead and attach this piece here. So we're going to put glue on the folded up piece of flap. And my pen came out. So how is everyone's New Year so far? I hope everyone's getting a lot of crafting done. I still haven't scrapped like I promised myself. So we're going to do one side at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this folded edge here. We're going to open up our card. Okay. We're going to take this folded edge with the glue side facing down, and we're going to line that folded edge directly to the back side of our card there, the back panel, and line it up with the bottom of our card. So it's flush with the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to put glue on this piece. And then we're going to close our card. And everything should line up perfectly. So then our card will stand up. Okay. And at this point, we can go ahead and glue our back piece on. This is where we're going to sign it. And this is going to line up on your card. And you're going to get an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Now we're ready to start the front. So we're going to go ahead and glue our designer series paper to our petal paint cardstock. It's going to line up just like that. Now I chose this as the side to go on front, but if you choose to use the peach pie, the opposite side, you can. But I'm going to go ahead and stay with the beautiful, beautiful side on the front. Even though most of it's covered up, you know, I think they'll still see how pretty it is. It's not really directional. So this also is going to center on this, and you'll have like an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. We're going to go ahead and glue our calendar down onto this piece here so we could line up the Ric-A-Wreck. And you want to be relatively generous with your glue. but just be careful not to get too close to the edge because you don't want it spewing out. This is going to center with, small border, maybe a 1/16 of an inch-ish border all the way. Okay. Give it a good press. Okay. And we're going to adhere this calendar to the front of our card, and we're going to probably do about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the designer series paper and about 1/4 of an inch on the sides of the designer series paper. So on your sides and your bottom, you want to see the same amount of designer series paper. Looks a little crooked. Okay. And then we're going to take our rickrack and we're going to put it right above our calendar, maybe leaving about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch from the petal pink cardstock of the calendar base. I feel a little off, like my phone is not in the normal spot. And then I tape with regular Scotch tape. You can use glue dots. You can use tear and tape. I just find it easier to use Scotch tape. Okay, you want to make it snug, but not too tight to where it bows your paper. Now we can go ahead and glue this on to the front of our card. And you will have 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. My phone is not in the same spot. I'm going to try moving it a hair because I feel like I keep going out of range. I think that's a little better. Okay, now we can go ahead and set these pieces aside and we can go ahead and color. This is all the coloring and fussy cutting we are going to do on all 3 projects. So if you are using the Tri-Blend markers, I would use Pale Pink Blend and Coral Blend. I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Blends. I'm going to use Petal Pink, Light and Dark, and I'm going to use Calypso Coral This is Cajun Craze. This is Calypso Coral. I am going to use Calypso Coral, light and dark. I'm going to color one flower the lighter color, one flower the darker. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the light petal pink. And I'm just going to color all of the petals light to start with. I was so excited whenever I got the video recorded last night. Man, I worked for a couple hours on it, and then I fussed with it for about an hour when I got off of work. I'm like, you know what? I need someone just to come in and show me how to do this because I'm not being successful. Now I'm going to add the dark petal pink to the middle, and I'm just gonna fan it out the center to the outer of the edge of the petals. And then I'm going to color the outer edges, the folded up pieces of these petals. Well, at least that's what they look like to me. I'm going to color those the dark. And that's it for that. And then I did take the dark peach pie and put it in the center. And I would use, if you're using the tri-blends, I would use the golden yellow blend. So we're going to color this one, light Calypso Coral. I'm going to color, I'm going to color all of it with a light. This just helps with the blending of the dark when the paper is saturated. And you don't really want to see the harsh lines. It's best to go over your project that you're coloring with the light color first. Then your blending just is a little smoother. And the image isn't that big, so there's not a whole lot of blending, and we're just working with two colors. So I don't want to put a lot of color down because I want them to be not super dark. I want them to be a little bit on the softer side like the paper. So we're going to come back to the light on the dark, on this darker flower. Then I'm just going to add a little bit of the dark. Okay. Then I'm going to add the dark to the folded up pieces of the petal. Just realized I don't think I did that to this one. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over just the dark coloring ever so slightly with the light, just to blend out um, the transition of the dark to the light. And I'm going to add the pumpkin pie or the peach pie to the center. And that's all the coloring. That's it. That is it. So we have the demonstrators are able to start ordering the online exclusives for product that's coming out in March. So I will do an unboxing for that. Stampin' Up! Is coming out with a stamp positioner that has shipped, and I will share it once I get it. And I need to put on my glasses so I am not straining. So these are relatively easy images to cut around. If you have the dies, you can use the dies to cut out these images, but I find it harder to cut out, I find it easier to color before they're cut out. And if it's an easy image to fussy cut, then that's what I do. There's one. So my oldest granddaughter will be turning 20 next month. So that's exciting. And while we have our scissors in hand, you could banner cut this, but I just cut it at an angle like that. And that is all the cutting we need to do for this project. The only other cutting you'll need to do is on one of the Valentines. So let's go ahead and bring this in. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down first because I want to hide the edge with a leaf. So I am putting it like 1/8 of an inch above the rickrack where the tail end of my sentiment is overhanging onto the petal pink. So it looks something like that. Okay. So the leaves are 3 different sizes. So the chubbier, smaller one is the one that I want to use to put on the edge of my sentiment. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of glue, and I'm just putting the leaf like so. And then I'm going to glue this flower down, and I'm only putting glue in the center of the flower, so then that way I could tuck the other two leaves behind. Okay. And I have a little bit of the flower hanging off onto the petal pink. Then I'm going to add the other two leaves. Going to come down a little bit onto my sentiment with this chubby one, the larger of the three. And then this long skinny one, I'm going to put more towards the top. So one thing I shared in the video that I made last night, so this one's just going to come out off to the side. Then we are going to pop up this one of these flowers here. And then we're going to just overlap like so. Position it to where you are pleased with the amount of leaves that you see. Kind of want to change the position so it's not matchy-matchy. But I guess it's kind of hard when it's the same flower, right? Okay. But what I was saying, I think that's all the gluing. So let me put my pen back in. I was cleaning out my inbox, my email, and I bought this Bearly Art glue in 2020. It was this 4-ounce bottle. It came with the 4-ounce bottle of glue, the large glue refill, which is like a bear, and then the tips. And I just finished filling this bottle with the last of the refill. It's lasted since April of 2020 is when I bought it. It's lasted that long. I can't believe it. It's such a great deal. But it's because I use that fine tip. Okay, now we're going to put on our gems. So I put this big fat one using my take your pick tool, and I put that on the center. You don't have to, but I did it because they have the gold in the center of these other flowers, so that's why I chose to do it on that one there that's so prominent. And then I'm just going to stick these other two just in a random spot, like so. And that's it. Oh, I did put Wink of Stella on the leaves, or the petals of the flower. There. Now we are done with card number 1. There we have it, ladies. The first card of 2026 that we've created. Okay. Go ahead and set those aside. Let's do this one here. This one has a little bit more parts and pieces. Okay. You have some twine. This is the red and white baker's twine. I do not know if this is still available. You have 3 of the sparkly, I don't know what these are. I don't remember what they call them, but these little blings. You have 2 of the silver drusies. I think those are still online. Okay. You have a 2x2 piece of designer series paper. You have, gosh, can't get rid of that little guy. You have 2 zeros or O's, and you should have 2 X's. There's one. There's the other. So there's 2. You have a red heart. You have a 1" by 6" strip. That's for the envelope. You have a piece of designer series paper, and that has a little holes, and these I did not punch out very well. You have a tag that has for your sentiment. You have your inside piece. This is stamped with pink flamingo in real red that says Happy Valentine's Day. That goes on the inside of our card. We have a piece of Flirty Flamingo die cut with this new embossing folder, which I forget what it's called, and it's not at arm's distance, and an envelope. So let me go through here and pop out these little tiny holes. I think this is what happens with 2 pieces of paper at a time. They pop out really easy. So I had my house painted over the holidays. I think I might have mentioned that in November. So that's all finished. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do with my backyard. I think I want to put in a planter. Well, not think, I know I want to put in a planter. So that's going to be my next project. And then after that, I need to figure out the bathtub shower situation upstairs in my daughter's bathroom. Okay, so first thing is first, let's glue the inside of our card to get that out of the way. we have 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, set my envelope aside, my strip aside. Now we're going to take our 2x2 square and we are going to glue that to the back side of our heart. I'm going to show the hearts like I did in my sample, but you can use the other side if you choose, this side, but I'm going to put the hearts down. It's non-directional, so it doesn't matter which way you put it. So I just put a little bit of glue around the edge of the heart. Okay. Now we're going to take our baker's twine and we're going to put our little heart actually, before we do that, let's glue this down. We're going to glue this down, but we're only going to put half of it. We're only going to use, a little over a half. So just going to line up the bottom of our heart, the bottom tip there, and hang it over like so. Be a little generous with your glue. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the edge here. I didn't put quite enough glue down. Okay. Then we're going to trim this and we're going to set it aside because we're going to glue it to the inside of our card. So let's trim that off. I find it easier to trim from the back. Okay. So just set that aside. So then we have something that looks like that. Now let's tie our baker's twine. So I just have a little piece hanging to hold, but we're going to wrap this around 3 times. You have plenty. So we're going to tie that. Oops. Come back over here. Then we're going to string our little sentiment tag in there. Oops. Okay. Tie that off, and then we're going to tie a bow. You don't want to be super, super tight because you don't want to rip your paper. We're going to go ahead and glue everything and put a dimensional so it'll hold it in the spot that we place it. Oh, the ducks are flying over. Okay. So I'm going to take a dimensional. I've already taken off the sticky. I'm going to position my red heart the way I want it. I have a little cattywonk there, and I'm just going to set the dimensional underneath. Then I'm going to put a little dot of glue. I didn't put my pin in soon enough. A little dot of glue just to hold that tag in place. Oops, like so. And then this is the time you want to fix your twine. I like it when it looks crisscrossed. Some people don't, so this is the time you want to fix it because now we're going to glue it on. I'm going to trim my tails. Okay. So now we're going to glue this down to our card front. You want to be generous with your glue, but not too generous at the edges because you don't want it coming out. But this is an embossed piece, so you want the little bits of glue to go down into the crevice of the embossed. Okay. And now we're going to put this down 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And because you're raised a little bit because of the twine, make sure you give a good furnish and press along your edges so you get a seal. Okay, let's go ahead and put our inside pieces down. So the piece that you cut, go ahead and put some glue on the back of it. Okay, and then we're gonna put the edge right up against our sentiment, our signature piece here. And then we're gonna glue this piece down. Like so. Okay, so that finishes the inside. Now we're going to lay our X's and O's down. And we're going to glue these. And I went, let's see, it's about 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch from the edge of the mango, and like a 1/16 of an inch from the bottom is where I set the first X. Now we're going to line the O up next to it. And then the next O about a 1/2 inch apart from, put the X about a 1/2 inch away from the O. Same distance at the bottom. Just try to get it as even as possible. We're almost done with this card. Okay. So we have it just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and add our gems. And I just added them. You've got 3 of the little sparkly ones. I think I'm going to put that one on this end. And then 2 of the druzies. I just thought it needed more than just the 3 little sparkles, but 3 of these big ones would have been too much. So I'm just going to add it there. Okay. I added Wink of Stella to the X and the O. So that completes the card. So let's go ahead and put our piece on the envelope. Flap. So this is non-directional, and again, you can use whichever side you choose. I'm going to go ahead and have the hearts facing out. And again, if you plan on mailing the card, I would be pretty generous with your gluing so it doesn't come off in transit going through the machine. So you're going to put it right on the edge of the flap, and then we're going to trim the ends. So this completes card number 2. I think it came out pretty cute. Pretty close to my sample. I brought this heart up a little higher. So there's card number 2. And here's card number 3, and I didn't share the product I was using. So in the first card, I used the Endless Love stamp and die set with the coordinating paper made with love. This is how many bits and pieces I have left. Okay, and then this card here, using the same paper, I used the Happy Valentine's and this heart stamp for the inside. And I use the Sweet Jar stamp and punch with the hearts. And I used the new Bubble Bath ribbon. And I tied your bow for you. So this will be a fairly quick card. So you have six 1-inch, no, 3/4 inch by 4 3/4 inch strips. You have a long 1/2 inch by 6 inch. This is for your envelope. You have an inside piece. This I stamped the little hearts in Bubble Bath, and I used Real Red for Happy Valentine's Day. You have a circle, white, which I punched out of your card base. The card base, and you have a circle here. This I stamped the Real Red hearts. These circles, the cardstock is Strawberry Slush. You have 3 iridescent little gems. I think those are retired. Here's your cute little Bubble Bath bow. And then I use, like I said, the jar stamped in Real Red and Pink Flamingo. My sample, I stamped off Real Red and then Full Strength Red, but I liked the way the pink and the red looked. So that's what I did here. So let's get some of these pieces out of our way. We can go ahead and do this to the center of our circle just to get it out of our way. Set that aside. Set our envelope aside. Gonna go ahead, this is a side folding card. Go ahead and glue this piece to the front of our card. You can have an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. We're gonna cover up this circle, so. So we're gonna go ahead and set the inside piece aside. You're gonna use 5 of these strips. One of them will go inside our card. So we're gonna set aside one of these X's and O's because we're gonna glue the striped on the inside. However, to put a different one in and use this twice on the front of your card. But I'm gonna keep mine the same. So we're gonna stagger. So about 1/4 of an inch from the edge on both sides, we're gonna add our 2 first strips, and then we're gonna fill in the center with the remaining strips. And as you can see, I staggered them just to give it a little bit of, um, just a different look. But you could line them all up straight if you want. I like the staggered look, then that way I didn't have to be super careful. So, um, you're gonna make sure you're alternating your designs. So you shouldn't use any duplicate design on the front here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my first piece. So about a 1/4 inch from the bottom, the side, and the top, I'm going to lay my first piece down. And again, if it's not perfect, it's fine, and it doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to take a piece that I'm going to put on the end, which is going to be the opposite. I found it easier to be the opposite of this one, right? So I'm going to glue the red side down, and I'm going to add this one the same amount of distance. Okay, about a 1/4 inch, side, top, and bottom. And again, if it's not straight, it's fine because it's going to look crooked. um, see, I'm going to just kind of stay with the pattern I have. So I'm going to glue the XO down. And this one, I'm going to butt it up against the heart. And I'm just going to stagger it a hair. Not much, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take this one and do the same on the other side. Just going to stagger it. Maybe go up a little bit more. And then the center one, I'm going to come down a little bit. Like so. Okay. So that should cover you up perfectly. Now we're going to go ahead and set that aside for a minute. And let's work on our jar. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the corner of our jar here, because I want the lid to look like it's busting open from all the hearts. So I'm going to line the edge of my jar lid to the edge of my jar. And I'm just going to hold it for a second. Okay. I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on the back here. Going to put one up where the lid is. And we're going to add this to our circle. Now you want to position this. The bottom of the jar is going to be close to the bottom, if not overhanging the bottom of the white circle. But you want it to look like the hearts are coming out of the jar. And then when you have your spot, just press it down. Then we're going to use a glue dot. I don't know what I did with them. And I put everything away because I thought I was so successful with my video. Just disappointed myself. Okay. We're going to use a mini glue dot. These are super old. Just because these are old, I'm going to use a couple of them. I'm just going to ball it up. And put it right where the handle of the lid is. And then I'm going to put our bow down. Just like so. Okay. And then we're going to pop this up. And we're going to put it down on the center of our card. Like so. Okay. Then we're going to bring in this inside piece. We're going to glue this down to the bottom half of our card and trim the edges. I like a little bit of white showing at the bottom. Cut a little bit too much off. And then we will adhere this to the inside. Lastly, but not least, I added some Wink of Stella to the hearts, just the red ones. And then bring in our envelope. Oh, don't want to forget our bling. Bring in our envelope. And this strip is cut so you can use either side, the XO or the stripe. My sample, I used the stripe, but this one I'm going to change it up and put the XO down. Visible. This is going to go across either the top half or the bottom half of your flap. I'm just going to go ahead and put it at the bottom here, just easy to line up. Trim the ends. I do? Here we go. And then let's add our bling before we forget. These are the iridescent, like I said, I think these are discontinued or retired, but I had a lot of them. So I'm using them up. And that's it. Card number 3. All right, ladies, I hope you enjoy these cards. If you have any questions, please message me. I'm happy to assist you in answering any questions in product. I will be going live maybe next week, showing the unboxing of the stuff coming out for March, online exclusive, and the new stamp positioner that will be available probably when the new catalog releases in the summer. I will probably do that live on Facebook. Okay, ladies, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Post pictures of your cards on my Facebook page so then I can draw a winner for a little something, a little surprise in the mail for you. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.